You are listening to a BAMMSTERS podcast. Go listen to something else. Do it now.
Welcome to this first episode of the BAMMSTERS podcast, Rated R. My name is Nisqasian, but you can call me G, and with me today I have Bamm Havoc, our editor in briefs, and the human personification of the Oxford comma, Mr. Grit Breather. Tell us about yourselves, Bamm.
Well, just a guy. I like beer, bacon, all things glorious. I have a small YouTube channel that I post the odd video to. Yeah, just a normal guy doing his gaming thing, love it, enjoy it, have fun. That's basically it, mate.
Grit?
I don't like bacon, don't like beer, cider's good. I sometimes like Bamm, and I sometimes show up on his channel as the guy with a big orange head for some weird reason that I'm not quite sure of. That's it.
Well, I think we saw you in one of his Destiny videos at least. We've been wanting to do a podcast for a while, and recently a topic for our inaugural episode presented itself, Valkyrie, which is currently in closed alpha, and which you two got to play. Recently, we've had the PlayStation experience in San Francisco. Everybody, at least on consoles, paid good attention to that, since there was a lot of new games, a lot of reveals from Sony and from all third-party developers. Don't know if you two managed to watch it?
Certainly no. I was more focused on the Destiny pod raid challenges, so I didn't get much time to do it because I was beasting in Destiny. So no, I did keep an eye out on the Valkyrie stand, which I did note from a tweet from one of the devs saying it was the longest line at PSX. So that is very, very interesting. Yeah.
I didn't manage to follow much because this past weekend, and probably a bit before, I spent quite a lot of time travelling all over Europe to pick up our new husky puppy. So, we have a husky puppy, but less console news from me.
Well, I suspect the husky puppy is also worth it. One of the things that I definitely noticed was a new game that will also come to VR, a 100-foot robot golf, or as it will be called outside of America, I assume, 33.3-meter robot golf. Other things that came up that was interesting were they were remaking old games from the mid-90s, like Day of the Tentacle or Full Throttle.
When we say remaking, is that completely destroying them?
No, it seems like they are making it quite true to the originals, with a version of Day of the Tentacle that you can play completely like it was in the old times, with the old graphics. Or where they've just added graphics to make it full screen and high def and prettier, and apparently updated the gameplay a little bit, but it looked really true to the original with the same weird-ass tests and weird-ass challenges.
In the original Day of the Tentacle, one of the rooms had a PC where you could play the full version of the original Maniac Mansion. Are you saying the new version of Day of the Tentacle will have a room with a PC where you can play the original Day of the Tentacle, where you can play the original Maniac Mansion as well?
Oh my god, just Inception mind blow right there.
That's really a good question. I think we need to get with Double Fine Games and ask them just how far they're taking this. Another thing that came up during the presentations that I found kind of interesting, a lot of people were complaining when Destiny came out that they wanted to race on their Sparrows, and it turns out Bungie actually listened. There is now a Sparrow Racing League. Yay!
This was actually quite interesting because there was, at least when I initially bought Destiny from day one or whatever have you, I initially had the idea, although I'm not sure where it came from, that there'd be like a race inside one of the raids, or something you have to do with your Sparrow inside one of the raids, be it Vault of Glass or Crota. The thing about that was that the closest thing we came to Sparrow Racing, which was actually quite fun, was when we tried to cheese those keys for the Prison of Elders, just to get, 2 or 3 pops at the same chest to get a key. That was the closest thing we came to it. But right now it's the raid challenges, and thankfully I've managed to do the War Priest and Golgoroth. Just waiting for the RX challenge now.
Great. Did you give up completely on Destiny?
Well, the last piece of Destiny I bought and played was the Prison of Elders stuff. I haven't touched anything year 2, didn't buy anything, and haven't actually played it, or even launched it, even though my PlayStation keeps updating the game. I'm still waiting for something a bit more worthwhile from Destiny. Seems a bit stale to me. But I did see in some of the tweets that there are some new Sparrows now that look much cooler than the old ones. A black one with some lightning in it and stuff, which is a completely different shape to the old ones, which is nice. A bit more diversity. Don't know if it does anything special though. It looks cool.
Probably not.
Well,
Just
to be
Sparrow.
fair, looking cool is what matters.
Yeah, true. No, I don't blame Grit for not wanting to invest any more into Destiny. If you look at what happened with the Taken King DLC and the House of Wolf DLC and all that jazz, you could basically get the whole Destiny game for half the price that us First Day is paid. Yeah, so the longer you wait, the cheaper the game gets, really. So if you wait for Destiny 2.0 to launch, and then wait for the first, DLC after that, then buys that, he'd probably get the 2.0 release and the DLC that comes with it for a bargain price. So it's not a bad idea. Wait and see when Destiny interests you again, and then buy that. Not only will you get the previous DLCs attached to it for free, but you probably get a better gaming experience out of it.
Well, don't make me sound like a cheapskate.
But you are a cheapskate. This is why you're here on the channel.
That's what this channel's about. I'm sure it's other things. In any case, the reason I'm not really playing Destiny at the moment is because I think the game has just not really delivered in many promises about being an open shared world with lots of things to do. I think it's still very repetitive and, for me at least, just not fun because nothing really changes. Yeah, they added some very small amount of diversity in what are very repetitive missions, and I just don't like doing the same thing over and over and over and over again.
You two are making me happy I didn't even bother buying the game.
No, don't get me wrong, I enjoy Destiny. I play with a lot of my mates, I have a good time. In fact, Destiny's the game I play the most on the PS4. I sometimes go down to Battlefield 4, I sometimes play War Thunder. Lately I've been playing World of Tanks, actually. But, the content for Destiny dries up quite quickly. So you then play other games, and, whatever tickles your fancy. I'm quite keen on getting World of Tanks, and actually when it releases and stuff, because, I did play the beta. Had a lot of fun playing the beta too.
But that was one of the items I wanted to touch on as well, because this past weekend we had the World of Tanks open beta weekend on the PlayStation 4, of course. And I think everybody who could and everybody who knew were trying it out.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we didn't get to play with World of Tanks Saberwing, an old Dust friend of ours. So yeah, I didn't get any penetration on him there. So yeah, we'll get him next time.
Well, problem is next time they might actually have squads working, in which case you'll want to squad with us, and I didn't see any friendly fire, so good luck with the penetrating.
Who said he's going to be on the same team? No, what I have noticed though, yes, they didn't have squad working, and they did lock it down quite a bit of the game, or even though it was a 30 gig download, that didn't compute for me. But I did like the fact that for once a beta wasn't region locked. That was perfect, because I could play with my mates in America.
You mean like Dust wasn't region locked?
Yep, just like Dust wasn't region locked. You could and you could actually Q-Sync, which we managed to actually do. We got like 6-7 people in the actual PlayStation chat, and then we just Q-Sync. So then we just pressed X on our tier 1 tanks and tier 2 tanks, and we all got into the same match, fighting each other. It was great fun. Shot Jolly in the face, blew away Noob Caveman. I even had a few shots at Yuji. It was good fun, good laugh.
Oh no, it was definitely entertaining right up until Jolly took me in the face.
But don't worry, I'll shot him in the arse after that.
Are you sure this is a game about tanks with all these terms you're using?
Yes.
Okay, just making
100% sure.
Well, then you also missed out on the closed alpha on Doom. That was actually kind of interesting. Unfortunately, it's a closed alpha, so we can't really say anything because we had to sign a lot of papers, apparently in French, that says, you cannot talk about this.
Yeah, certainly we can't talk about that game. It's just that I would thoroughly recommend you guys go get it when it launches. It's going to be a very, very fun game.
I'll just add my standard bit about Doom basically being an arena game, and I don't like arena games. I like big worlds with things happening and stuff to do, other than just shooting other people over and over and over again.
That was a lot of talking. We will be right back after these messages.
You are listening to a BAMMSTERS podcast. Haben die Leute nichts Besseres zu tun?
Well, we're not just here to talk about this last weekend. We also have the Valkyrie playtest that you two managed to get into. Actually, how did you get into the Eve Valkyrie closed alpha?
God only knows. Don't know why, don't know how. It might have had something to do with certain videos and certain people being poked, but somehow managed to get into the playtest. So yes, it was a lot of fun making those videos, a lot of fun poking fun at the people in those videos, but yeah, it was a good time. Had a good time at the playtest, yes.
I just know I was subjected to being in the same room with Bamm for a few hours. But my memory just vanishes after that.
The smell of bacon and odour of beer is quite overpowering.
You mean the smell of man?
The smell of man, yes.
Well, you're both what we could call veteran CCP gamers customers. What in your past experience with their games is it that makes you interested in Valkyrie beyond the whole obvious VR thing?
I think this speaks for quite a few people who really follow CCP games. Everybody wants to play Eve without playing Eve, because Eve is fun and big and full of options, but in order to do that you need to play Eve, which basically sucks up your entire life. So, I tried Eve for a couple of years, somewhere around 2007, 2008. Eventually I won Eve by stopping playing. Then Dust started, and I was in the early stages of the closed beta, which was fun while it lasted, but then, well, things happened. Now I'm following Valkyrie fairly closely, I think. And yeah, basically just attempts at playing Eve without playing Eve. Bamm?
Well, if you haven't already put people to sleep, good God, I think I'll tell them why I got into it. Well, basically I got into it through a friend of mine called Tabs. He popped up and said, on PlayStation 3, this mind you, he said, there's a new first-person shooter free to play, try it. And that's what my thing, that was the open beta for it. And that's when I met basically 3/4 of my PlayStation 4 friend list now, which is about 250 odd people. So yeah, good times on that. And from there, I went on to Eve, and I've been playing Eve since as well. Mimitar Brotherhood for the win. Mimitar Faction War, yeehaw. Sort of thing. Heard about Valkyrie when they launched it in the keynotes and all that jazz over at FanFest, and been hooked ever since. I've been annoying and poking and prodding Hilmar, all the devs at the CCP Newcastle office since, really. And yeah, you know, it's a bit of a giggle trying to figure out how to annoy Hilmar.
Now, I hear they even sometimes respond to you on rare occasions.
No, it's like, oh, that dickhead Bamm again. Ignore. No, hardly ever.
Well, it does sound like you're saying pretty much the same, that it is an experience you had in Dust and Eve that is leading you to want to try this Eve Valkyrie, more than it is the VR itself.
Well, to be pretty honest, G, you know, for me, I don't know about Grit, but for me, I always thought that VR was a gimmick, because if you remember back to the old days with the NES and the SNES and stuff like that, you know, you had all that VR nonsense, and it was pretty much a gimmick then. And before I saw the FanFest, and before I saw the playtests and whatever have you, I honestly thought this VR was a gimmick, you know, because so much is nowadays just a gimmick. No, it is not a gimmick. It is awesome. See, this is the problem of being under NDA. I want to describe and explain and shout from the rooftops and jump up and down and do but I can't. The NDA stops me. It is the future of gaming, guaranteed.
Then, when you were there, did you try, for example, the Oculus Rift version or the PlayStation VR version?
Valkyrie is a VR game, so yes, I did try using a headset.
And only a headset?
Well, I used my hands as well.
Okay, well, how did the headset feel, and just how silly did you feel waving your head around while sat on a stool?
Well, I didn't generally wave my head around unless I was falling over, but it felt, you know that feeling when you have a headset on? It felt like that.
Look, gee, he's being deliberately vague because...
I know,
Yeah,
I'm standing
yeah.
here laughing my ass off.
Look, yeah, we did try a headset on, yes. We did play with a controller, yes. We had fun, yes. No, I don't know for G or Grit even. I didn't feel stupid having it on because of the immersion. I might have looked like an idiot with it on, but I sure as hell didn't feel like it because it's awesome.
I can definitely say he did look like an idiot.
Yep.
With it on and with it off as well.
So VR actually changes nothing about Bamm, practically.
No, nothing at all.
At least we know that Valkyrie has been shown off at events and has trailers and B-rolls up on YouTube, and frankly, from my point of view, the game looks awesome. What were your takeaway from the visuals and the audio?
My takeaway from it is that it is awesome, it's brilliant, it's magnificent, and you need to go and buy it.
It was a really fun experience, and despite me mostly being console-oriented for the past while, this did actually get me thinking more seriously about a gaming PC. Yes, Valkyrie will be on consoles and PC, but we all know that PC Master Race and everything, blah blah blah.
Well, on that, can you tell us anything about the controls? How did you otherwise control it? Since you want to use PC, were you mouse and keyboard?
I did definitely use a mouse and keyboard when I was launching the game, yes.
And I did use a controller when I was playing the game.
Yes, I used my fingers and sometimes my elbows when I was getting annoyed.
Well, Bamm, you scare me a bit because everybody knows PC games cannot be played with controllers.
This happens to be incorrect, G.
Did you get around to trying the Gunjack that recently released, either during this session or elsewhere?
Gunjack had just recently released when we actually got to play the playtest. I actually purchased it on my Samsung S6 and had it promptly smashed from my hands in a car accident, or truck accident most likely. So yeah, my S6 is busted and my ribs are busted. So yeah, that's a fun head. Yay, Bamm! And no, I can't play freaking Gunjack. But I will prevail.
Playing Gunjack actually causes people to get hit by trucks.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Playing Eve Gunjack makes you feel like you've been hit by a truck. I'm saying that. It also just goes to show that I just finished tweeting one of the Eve Valkyrie devs as well, so, you know.
Are you sure this wasn't just the very immersive nature of Gunjack?
No, I can guarantee I've got 3 broken ribs and a concussion. I can definitely vouch for that, yes. Eddie Stobot, yay!
My personal take on Gunjack is that it's basically available on the Samsung ecosystem, which I'm not a big fan of because it's extremely closed off and I'm a stock Android person. So, Nexus, yay!
Okay, not so much Eve Gunjack, and if we ignore Eve Valkyrie for a bit, what do you look for in a game, or space combat game, or games in general yourselves?
I look for games that are fun. Now, the main problem with that is that most people don't agree with my interpretation of fun. I need big arched games with massive open worlds and good stories and multiplayers, non-repeating mechanics, and basically EVE Online, but I don't want to play EVE Online.
Bamm?
Well, for me, a little bit different criteria compared to Grit. For me, it's all about the social aspect of it. Lately, I've been playing on the console, mostly, and it's my friends, really. Wherever my friends go, I tend to go. Wherever I go, my friends tend to follow. Play a lot of Destiny, play a lot of Battlefield 4, play a lot of War Thunder, play a lot of, Planetside 2, shit, play a lot of games. The difference for me between a good and an epic game is that a good game has good social aspects to it. And I get to have a laugh and a giggle and a good time with my friends. The game can be the weakest cup of tea you've ever had in your life. Dust 514. But still a good game. An epic game, or a magnificent game, or a brilliant game has solid mechanics, a solid foundation to build off, like Battlefield 4, Destiny for example, as well as the social aspect. You can hook up with your friends, hook up with your mates, meet new people, integrate with them, have a laugh and a joke. Case in point with World of Tanks the weekend just gone. We had so much fun, but the game is more arcadey compared to War Thunder, because those are the two competing markets right now, is War Thunder and World of Tanks. But I have more fun in World of Tanks because it's no one really cares, but it was enjoyable. No one's as serious playing it because they know it's just a giggle and a laugh, Whereas War Thunder, people tend to be a little bit more serious because it's more realistic. It's just those comparisons. The social side of it compared to the mechanical side of it is what I prefer. So that's basically what I look for in a game, really, nowadays. If I can play with my friends, awesome. It's a game I want to play.
But gaming is a very serious experience.
Gaming is not serious. Gaming is gaming because you want to have fun, not a serious experience. If you want a serious experience, go and throw stones at cars.
If gaming for you is about your friends and the social aspect, then I have to ask if this experience with Eve Valkyrie and with your views on VR, are you now looking to convert all of your friends to VR and have them build man caves in their homes?
Well, I've already got a man cave, thank God. But we all know that the PC Master Race, to just get into Eve Valkyrie, you need, the way I'm working it out with all the components and bits and pieces, and a guesstimation how much the headset's going to cost, about $2,000 to be able to play the game and have a decent PC. With the PlayStation 4, because VR is coming out for PlayStation 4 as well as Valkyrie, you need under $1,000. So the PlayStation 3 costs 350 quid. Let's say the headset costs another 350 quid. That's £700. Okay? Whereas with the PC, you need $2,000. So, yep, they're going to be catering for the elitists, PC market, and they're catering for the not so elitists, us peasants. I feel that I have a better experience on the PC, so I'm actually looking to see what do I need to get for quite literally a bargain basement PC with just the baseline needs for Valkyrie. It will play other games, yes, but there's no longevity in the PC at all. You're going to have to upgrade it pretty quickly if you want to carry on playing more high-end, top-end games. And I'll have that up for you guys, hopefully in the next podcast.
Well, Grit, on your end, did this change your view on VR?
It didn't change my views, really, but it heightened them and gave me a bit more perspective. So where I always viewed VR as something that's out there and could be interesting and maybe fun sometimes, just for a laugh, it did actually seem a lot more mature than previous VR experiences we've seen over the past 20 years or so. It did actually seem something worthwhile investing in. Same as a gaming PC. I always wanted to look at a gaming PC, but this actually made me think about getting one a lot sooner than I'd imagined.
Yeah, I must say myself, I have that memory from about, 93, 94, playing arcade versions of virtual reality games, and that's still in the back of my mind saying, this is crap. And I'm so looking forward to getting more in depth with this and hoping that it will blow my mind compared to those experiences. Not that they weren't mind-blowing 20 years ago, but they're not impressive by today's standard.
It will blow your mind. I walked into the Newcastle office with a lot of negative thoughts about this is going to be a gimmick, it's going to be shit. And I was staggered by it. Caught off guard and blown away. Brilliant. They have done it. This is going to be the game you want to get. Stand by. It's going to blow your mind. When you play it, you will see how awesome it is, and that, yes, Grit said, you will want to invest in a PC. Because that is where I think the ultimate experience will be coming from.
Just please, people, don't sell your kidneys.
No, it's not worth it. I had to shave my beard just to gain access to the front door of CCP Newcastle.
Well, for now at least, I think I'm heading for the PS4 simply because that is the cheaper option. But we'll see how it looks and compare to some PCs later.
This will be the game that makes people get PCs. Watch. This is the game.
And either way you go, you'll also have additional options, things like Elite Dangerous, which is advancing quite nicely and is also dipping into VR now. It should have a PlayStation version, I guess, within about a year and a half at the most. Then some sort of an Xbox exclusive console thing now, but that will expire at some point. So that's 2 VR games you can play in space, flying around, doing stuff, which is cool.
Till now, Valkyrie will shit all over Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen. Okay? Really will. And that's what I feel. Whether it does or not remains to be seen, that's just opinion, but Valkyrie is where it's at. CCP are at the forefront of this VR tech. They are going to melt face. And I'm actually surprised that other companies such as EA, Bethesda, Ubisoft haven't actually invested into VR tech. Surprised, because CCP, little podunk country developer, whatever, in Iceland, has actually pulled it off and done it. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I was floored with the beauty and the awesomeness of it all.
Well, don't forget Microsoft have made a wonderful version of Minecraft for HoloLens. You can play Minecraft on your living room table.
Yeah, I really want to go play Internet Lego. Yes. Thank you. No thanks.
Okay, well, we're kind of coming up on the end of this little first episode. I have one last question for you regarding your experiences there. How annoying is it to be subject to an NDA when you want to tell the world but aren't allowed to?
Okay, I think I can sum this up quite easily. Yes.
Well, I won't give you one word answer. Yes, it's very annoying. I want to run around the streets and the high streets naked, screaming out from the rooftops on the hills, saying that this game's awesome. VR tech's finally here. the future's now sort of thing. It is very annoying not being able to do that. Not being able to talk to people about the experience you've had and telling what you saw, what you played on, and how you did this, and very annoying.
Well, that was it for our inaugural episode here at BAMMSTERS Podcast Rated R. Thank you to Bamm, Havoc, and Grit Breather for being here and talking about it. And see you all in the next episode where we'll talk about some fantasy movies that are coming up. Bamm will have some Christmas shopping tips for a PC. And we'll have an interview with a player from the Sword Coast Legend community. So for me, G-Talk, thank you very much for listening.
And from me, Bamm Havoc, thank you very much. See you on the next podcast. Cheers, guys. Thanks.
And so long from me. Don't ever forget the Oxford comma.